Oh, hey guys, how you doing? Chad again. I thought I'd do a quick video here showing you a little bit about the woods that I'm using. Now, many of the woods I'm going to show you are in their natural state, meaning they're not stabilized. None of these have been polished, anything. They're only been sanded down to about 60 or 120 grit. And a lot of these woods are actually naturally hard or oily, so I don't stabilize them. There's a couple in here that have been stabilized, but again, this is only an initial sanding, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub them down, just show you the difference between what they look like when they're raw and then what they'll look like when they're wet, meaning oiled or polished or waxed and buffed, okay? So let's get to it. Okay guys, what I have here is a list of woods. It doesn't incorporate every piece of wood that I own that's in my inventory or that I can get a hold of, but it's just to give you a little bit of a sample of what some of the woods end up looking like, both when they're in their dry form, meaning right when they're cut, and then again when they're polished up or waxed or oiled or anything. So we're going to start at this end here, and this is a Michigan ironwood. Michigan ironwood. Now this is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and as you can see here, and hopefully the lights in my shop or the light here in the window, I had to close the curtains to kind of help out a little bit. So hopefully you guys can get a pretty good view of this. So this is Michigan ironwood. And now what I'm going to do is I rub it with rubbing alcohol. This way it doesn't absorb into the wood too much, it evaporates fast, but it also gives you an idea of what the wood looks like when it's going to be wet or oiled or finished. Now Michigan ironwood, it's a very hard wood. It's a dry wood, but it's a very hard wood. Now you can see already the two differences right there. So that's really nice. And you start going in there, you can see how now it's wet and it's not. Now this will be obtained by a penetrating oil and possibly a wax or something. But with something like ironwood, you will have to maintain it, meaning you will have to see it once a month or every so often and put a little bit of an oil on it or something like that if it's not waxed and sealed. So, but this is a book match end of Michigan ironwood. Now what I have here is oak. Now this is just regular white oak, and again it's not stabilized or anything like that because being hard I don't really have to stabilize it. Sometimes it's possible, I know some guys have done it, but in this case I don't really think stabilizing oak is that necessary. But again, this is its raw sanded finish. And then this is just getting it wet, and this is just a natural coat. Again, with the oaks, you can do boiled linseed oil. You could do some type of penetrating oil, and then I can polish them up and wax them down for you. But that's nice. This is a book match end of just regular oak. Now what I have here is tulipwood. Now tulipwood, this isn't stabilized either, but it's a very hard wood and it's oily. So it definitely doesn't get either one of those treatments. What this would get is a polishing with a wax, or maybe a little Danish oil or a boiled linseed oil, but you wouldn't need too much of it. So here it is being dry and sanded roughly. Again, this is either a 60 or 120 grit, nothing too extreme. But it also gives you an idea on how the wood changes once it's oiled down. So when you look at woods as a knife maker, I try to give the customer the best possible view of what the wood looks like. So you can see that's its raw part, and here now when it starts to get a little wet. And you'll get this look as you oil it down. Again, the reason why I'm not oiling it though is because when I oil this, it's in the wood, and then I have to sand it all down because I still have to glue it and attach it to a knife. And these are just samples right now. But again, this was tulipwood. Really nice. It's got olive colors and a little bit of yellow in it and some tan streaks. What we have here now is Cocobolo. Cocobolo being a very hard wood and very oily as well, having natural oils, it doesn't get stabilized. Cocobolo has been quite popular with knives too. Here it is in its natural raw form. That's just a burn mark from the saw, that's it. It was done a while ago. So that would get cleaned away. But again, here's what it would look like once they're oiled down and cleaned up. See the big difference there. Really beautiful. I should have probably sanded that down. I'm sorry I didn't do that. I wasn't paying attention, but really pretty. So again, this is Cocobolo. Now, like a lot of woods, they vary. I can probably pull out 10 different samples of Cocobolo and none of them will look anywhere near like the last previous sample. Now this is lacewood. Now lacewood's very hard, but it doesn't seem to be very oily. I have tried to stabilize lacewood, but I haven't been very successful in it. So when I deal with lacewood, I've just been soaking it with a penetrating oil. What's really nice about lacewood is it's named. It's these lace. I don't know if you see too much of it right now. Watch this. You really get a good look at all those, the lace, all the little curls in there. Hopefully this is going to come out good for you guys on video. But just, it's a real pretty wood. And you see already the alcohol starts to dry off, and that's why I use rubbing alcohol to do demonstrations like this for customers. Okay, now this is stabilized cherry. This is just a regular cherry that I got a hold of and I was able to stabilize it. Now unlike some of the burled cherry, that they're very hard, I can't do it. I was able to successfully stabilize cherry. But this cherry was really special. And it's because of this. I love this little bit of like a curl or something right here. You see, normally cherries just got like more of a straight, smooth grain. But this had a little bit of this curl or these waves inside here. And I ended up with a lot of pieces of cherry like this out of a big board I got a hold of. So it just turned out really nice. And it looks a lot like, well, it resembles a little bit of the lacewood, how you get some of these curls and such. So hopefully that's going to come out well for you guys. And being stabilized, as you can see, being stabilized, it's going to be, you're not going to have to worry about the wood going bad. Now with some of the raw woods though, you do have to oil them. Even if there's something like the cocobolos and such, you still want to oil it a little bit because wood does dry. Even though there isn't a little bit of the natural oils in it, it will dry out a bit. Now this is Bacote. Now Bacote, hardwood, has a lot of natural oils in it. I don't stabilize it. And with like a lot of the other woods, with Bacote, you'll get a good straight grain, but I also have some with a lot of like curl, not curl, but like some knots in it and such like that. And it really looks nice. But Bacote more often than not comes like this, and that's why I wanted to show you this example to you. And hopefully it's going to come through, but Bacote's got this like a yellowish hue to it with some of the brown or black straight lines going in there. Again, a very pretty wood. It's not overly dramatic, meaning, you know, real fancy like bird's eye maples and such like that, but it's just a real pretty wood. Cleans up really nice. So again, this is Bacote, and this is a natural hardwood. It'll do really well for knife scales. Now this is Mahogany. Now again, Mahogany can come variations. I have this darker reddish Mahogany. I have some really white Mahogany. But this I thought looked really nice and it made a good example. Mahogany is a very hard wood. I have ran some of it through the stabilizer and I was somewhat successful in it, but not all the pieces stabilized equally. And some of the pieces only had stabilization penetration through half of the wood, and that was after days of soaking. So I opt not to stabilize Mahogany because of its density. It's not very, at least this Mahogany is not very oily. I do have some that is, but this isn't it. But this takes very well to some good penetrating oils. Now hopefully this will come out. Now you see a little bit of a blonde streak here and there, but Mahogany has a really nice character to it. And you actually can go back to my website and even a video I did of a knife I was making for myself, but I ended up putting it up for sale because I was actually I was going to make a different knife for myself. And that's Mahogany with ebony throughout the middle. It had an piece of ebony stripe through it with brass pins and brass liners, but anyhow. But that's real pretty. And again, hopefully these woods are coming out for you guys to be able to see what they look like. And hopefully this will help you decide when you're shopping for knives and you want to get a wood and kind of customize it to your own personal preference. Hopefully this will help you. Alright guys, so again, it's just a recap of some of the woods that I had there. It doesn't show all the wood that I can get a hold of, nor does it show the wood that I actually have in stock. But it gives you a general idea on what kind of woods there are out there for you. And when you see a wood, it doesn't always mean that what you're looking at is what you're going to get. One of the reasons why I say that is because, first off, like you saw, when you look at wood in its raw state, it's kind of a dull look, and you might say, I don't like that, it doesn't look very good. But as soon as I put that rubbing alcohol on it, it really made a lot of those woods pop and shows you a lot more character. That character will come out once I make the knife scales and they're shaped and they're polished or oiled and buffed and stuff. You'll get that. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick here is the bird's eye maple. Now I have some of this here, and hopefully this will come out. Now this has actually got a little bit of a shine finish to it, but that sands off. It's just for demonstration purposes. But I had a box of wood here, so I thought I'd show you what some of this bird's eye maple looks like. And bird's eye maple you do stabilize. But this will give you a general idea. Now this wood here would be considered towards the higher end of exhibition grade or display quality because of all the eyes. The more eyes you get in your bird's eye maple, the more valuable it is. You can go to wood such as one of these. As you can see here, there's just not that many eyes in it. There's very few over here and just a few over on this side. But yeah, when you look over here, you can see the difference. So hopefully that helps you too. And also the same goes with curl. When you're looking at woods that have like a curly maple or a curly black walnut, the tighter the curl and the more curl there is, the more quality, the higher quality, the more value that wood has. One of the examples is this little piece that I have that's a leftover cutoff remnant. Hopefully you'll be able to get a good view of this. As you can see, there's a little bit of curl in that, but let's flip it over to this side. All these lines, that's the curl. That's how the curl's made by the wood just twisting. And we can go back over here and I could grab another piece of curl, like for example this one here. This one's cut at an angle like this, but you'll see the curl actually comes through. See those ripples? The ripples all along there, that's what creates the curl of the maple. And then you'll see it right here as it comes through. And then there's woods that it's really hard at first to show you what kind of samples they look like, and that's something like this big hunk. This here is figured black walnut. It's also called gunstock walnut. And this is the wood that they'll use to make gun stocks with and foregrips. And with some of those shotguns and rifles, they get very decorative. It gets very fancy, and in a lot of this kind of wood, you'll end up getting some hues of rose or pink throughout them, with variations of brown and even maybe a black. But hopefully maybe I'll do another video showing some more wood, but I just wanted to do this little video here to give you guys a general idea on what it is I have in the shop and what I do. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it didn't confuse you any more than you might have already been. And if you got any questions or comments, leave them down below. Again, I appreciate all the support, both here on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and MeWe. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you in the next video, guys. Take care.